Schumpeter. Joseph Schumpeter, a very famous economist of US, who gave his ideas on entrepreneurship and innovation. According to him, economy grows because there is business cycle, and each business cycle some innovation has to take place. This innovation or the risk-taking capacity is what the entrepreneur does. An entrepreneur is a person who is a capitalist who comes forward and starts business, an enterprise, a new venture. So when he starts a new venture, it is innovation or his ability to take risk that is important. And this is what Schumpeter has emphasized with regards to capitalism. Schumpeter was born as an Austrian-American economist and a political scientist in 1883, and he died in 1950. He briefly served as finance minister of Austria when he was staying in Austria for some time in 1919. That is when, after the revolution had taken place, the Russian Revolution, after the First World War had ended, he was the finance minister because the whole European economy was in devastation. It was totally, after the First World War, there was totally depression taking place. Economy was not growing. So he was asked to come as a finance minister to Austria and to help the economy to grow. One of the most influential economists of the 20th century is Schumpeter, and he popularized the term creative destruction in economics. Continuous innovation. Everyone is coming up with new ideas. And when new ideas come, the old ideas get destroyed. And this is known as creative destruction. Based on the earlier economists' ideas as well, which Marx and others had said, Schumpeter also said that capitalism itself creates it. Some elements are there which leads to destruction under capitalism. Schumpeter encouraged young mathematical economists and even was the president of the Econometric Society which only deals with mathematical economics and deals with all equations and formulas. And 1940-41, and Schumpeter, though he was not a mathematician, he did not have any training in maths, was more an economist, but he introduced the mathematical concepts in economics. He tried instead to integrate sociological understanding of the society and into his economic theories. So social commitment, social ideologies, social relationship is, according to Schumpeter, is also important. And if you remember, students, for Karl Marx also, social ideas or social relationship were very important, and economic theories were intertwined, were integrated into the social ideas. From current thought, it has been argued that Schumpeter's ideas on business cycle and economic development cannot be captured in mathematics of this day. So at that time of his time, mathematically it could not be calculated, it could not be interpreted, and hence non-linear dynamical systems were partially formalized, and hence with social relationships, with sociological understanding, the theories of business cycle, theories of entrepreneurship, theories of innovation were all developed by Schumpeter. The book written by Schumpeter, Joseph A. Schumpeter, Capitalism, Socialism and Democracy. Now this is the title of the book, which is a very famous book of Schumpeter, where all his ideas have been brought about. Capitalism, Socialism and Democracy, where a person is sitting on an engine on a railway track, the engine is going, he is driving force. So the person is the driving force of that engine, and he is the entrepreneur, he leads the enterprise, and it is because of his driving force that the economy grows. Schumpeter also wrote in his book, Schumpeter stands out among early contributors of the economics of innovation. Regarding the capitalism, socialism and democracy, a critic has rightly emphasized and said his ideas are foundational, and much of the literature of this book builds on his work, uses his concepts and attempts to test his conjectures and assertions. So Schumpeter identified, discussed innovation, talked about economics, emphasized static price theory, where the prices would not rise until and unless a new innovation, a new technique, a new design, a new product is introduced in the market. Otherwise, prices will remain static. They would never increase. Prices increase or the market increases because there is innovation. Now, if you remember, students, and if you look into the real practical life, in the market every day the advertisements come. Each product is trying to renovate. Each product is trying to bring in new products, whether it's toothpaste, whether it is toothbrush, whether it's some oil or a shampoo, some sort of innovation would be there. Some change in the packaging, some change in the material used, the inputs used. Now all something new which will attract the purchasers, and then the prices would be revised accordingly. So profits or prices depend upon innovation, new technique. Otherwise, this economy remains static and the economy will not develop at all. Schumpeter was also an economist who was influenced by the historical school of economics and change oriented. So his dynamic change orientation, innovation based ideas, they were all based on the historical school of economics. Schumpeter's work on the role of innovation and entrepreneurship can be seen as a continuation of the historical school, particularly the two economists which were very important in his life, Gustav von Schmoller and Werner Sombart, both Austrian economists or German economists who were very, very influential in evolving Schumpeter's ideas. According to Christopher Freeman in 2009, recently a scholar who devoted much time researching on Schumpeter's work, in quotation, the central point of his whole life work is that capitalism can be understood as an evolutionary process of continuous innovation and creative destruction. Now this is the focus or the theme of Schumpeter's work. So central point is that capitalism does not end, not like what Karl Marx had said. It's an evolutionary process. It will go on changing. Evolution takes place, just like man's evolution has taken place. Similarly, evolutionary process is there. Capitalism will keep changing. Why it keeps changing is because of innovation. Continuous innovation. Everyone is coming up with new ideas. And when new ideas come, the old ideas get destroyed. And this is known as creative destruction. You create new ideas, destroy the old ones. When you destroy the old ones, the evolutionary process goes on, continuously takes place, and capitalism will grow. Schumpeter also had ideas about theory of business cycles and development, and it was his most important contribution. He did not follow Walras or Keynes, but Schumpeter starts in his own way theory of economic development, which is a treatise of the circular flow. So economy goes like a circular flow, excluding any innovations or innovative activities leading to a stationary state. So every economy students, their circular flow is taking place. If you remember your circular business cycle theories, household savings are there, gets into investment, investment becomes commodities, or employment of products are there, employment of labor is there. This gives you products which come to the market, and from here wages, profits, all this will again come into the household savings or the economy's savings. So this circular flow goes on taking place. It becomes a stationary state. Nothing can penetrate in. Nothing can change. There is no innovation. There is, to start with, the whole economy will remain stationary at a particular state. Then what happens? Someone makes an investment and brings a new technology from US. Say it is in India, we are making investments. A new technology comes. What happens? From this investment, new products will emerge. More, maybe newer skilled labor will be employed. Their wages will be much higher. So will the economy remain stationary? No. The economy will then rise. Once it rises, this is known as the evolutionary process taking place. So in any theory of economic development or growth takes place because there is innovative ideas and which penetrates this stationary state, and then there is no stationary state again, and this circular flow is broken and the new state emerges. The stationary state is, according to Schumpeter, is the Walrasian equilibrium. So Walras had given, another Austrian economist, equilibrium theory of a stationary state. So Schumpeter said that this stationary state is the Walrasian equilibrium. What he suggested was that innovation will remove this stationary state and economic development will take place. You will also see the innovation-driven business cycle, how from recession, recovery is taking place, and from recovery, prosperity is reaching. Again, you will have recession, recovery, and the prosperity. There is absence of crisis in this. If you compare Schumpeter with Marx, where Marx had said that there will be a capitalist crisis, Schumpeter said there is no crisis taking place. Depression may come, but it gets recovered again. Now, this is what happened with US 2008. We saw recession taking place in US, a worldwide recession again occurred. But what is happening today? The crisis was not such that the total collapse of the US economy or the collapse of the world economy. Slowly it has picked up again. Maybe the same rate of growth is not there, but it will pick up again, and then prosperity will occur. You will see the stationary state where the economy is not growing at that stage. Arrow, this scientific exploration will bring market transition. When market transition takes place, again scientific explorations will take place. So according to Schumpeter, from the stationary state you get an economically developing country because of explorations, scientific explorations, innovations. This brings market transitions. Totally market gets transitions take place, new markets are developed, emerging markets are found, and then economy does grow. The hero of whole story, according to Schumpeter, is the entrepreneur, the person who takes the risk, the person, the investor who finds that the money that he has invested in through innovation, new products which has come, if there are more and more entrepreneurs in an economy, more and more development will take place. That is the reason why even in India, we keep on emphasizing entrepreneurship. Every institutions are having entrepreneurial cells. When people who are in IITs or in technology colleges, all are being given, focused, become an entrepreneur. Once they become entrepreneurs, economy, new markets are found, new employment will take place, and from the stationary state, economic development will take place. Entrepreneur disturbs this equilibrium, and hence it is the prime cause of economic development. So cyclical fashion will take place. Cycles will always be there because the new entrepreneurs again will after some time come into an equilibrium position, a static state will be there. Again, some sort of recession will take place, but new and new innovations will again occur, and once more and more scientific exploration takes place, market transition will definitely take place and economic development occur. So innovation, cycles, development, Schumpeter kept alive the Russian Kondratiev's ideas on 50-year cycles and Kondratiev waves. So different waves were formed. So Kondratiev is a Russian economist who gave a 50-year cycles and said that every economy goes through 50-year cycle. The shorter the waves, if you remember students, the best it is for the economy. But if the waves are very, very long, and if the waves are very, very deep, and if deep depression sets in as it had in 1930s, then it is very difficult for economy to grow. But these small curves are a must. Every capitalist economy has these small waves. There is a gunshot like barrel is there, and a bottle is which is full of ideas inside the bottle. On top of the bottle is written the entrepreneur, and there is a bomb, the lighter which has to be lighted. Once that is lighted, the entire bottle will fly. Ideas will come out. Once the ideas come out, the economy will grow. Again, you have a slide of the entrepreneur where he is riding on a horse and the horse is flying very, very high. So the entrepreneur takes off and he really kicks off, just like the horse kicks off and goes to the goal, rides very fast. Similarly, the entrepreneur, like a horse, really takes the enterprise or the people along. Schumpeter, and what he said about the capitalism's demise is that Capitalism, Socialism and Democracy is the most popular book in English of Schumpeter. And the book opens with a treatment of Karl Marx. So what Karl Marx had said, that capitalism will fall, that is what he was sympathetic to Marx. And he said that capitalism will collapse and be replaced by socialism. However, Schumpeter concludes that this will not come about that the way Marx had predicted. Marx had said a revolutionary process will be there. The proletariat labor will combine, join together, become united, whereas Schumpeter gave that such a thing, possibility is not there. But he did borrow the phrase creative destruction, and he said that the process of the old ways of being destroyed, and this will be replaced by new ways. So old ideas will be replaced by new ideas, new innovations, and that is why Schumpeter is different from Karl Marx. This is the book written by Schumpeter on the theory of economic development, where he also talks about creative destruction, but this is destruction of ideas. This is destruction of old ideas replaced by new ideas, new innovations, new scientific exploration, not what Karl Marx had predicted, that there will be total demise of capitalism. Schumpeter's theory is that success of capitalism will lead to some sort of a corporation and values hostile to capitalism, especially among intellectuals. So academicians and intellectuals, they will be hostile to such type of monopolies. Big corporates will emerge, big corporations will be formed, and such type of capitalism who are monopolists and who will capture the world market. This has been criticized by intellectuals. Intellectual and social climate needed to allow entrepreneurship to thrive will not exist in advanced capitalism. So such small entrepreneurship will decline. They will vanish when mega corporates or mega companies will emerge. There will not be single individual entrepreneurs who are literally following, but such corporations ultimately under capitalism will emerge, which is what Schumpeter had said. This later may be replaced by socialism in some form, where people will be critical of such type of capitalism, and such advanced capitalism will not be liked by the people. Hence some sort of socialism or social security or government intervention will emerge. There will not be a revolution according to Schumpeter. No revolution will take place, but parliaments will be there, social democratic parties will emerge, and they will elect some sort of social democratic political party which will look after the people, look after the labor class, look after the general consumers, and these monopolists or big capitalists, they will not have all the say, and some control will be there. And this is what it is there today, students, in US or elsewhere as well. When big capitalists are there, when big corporates are there, mega corporates, Walmart is going to come to India. These are mega corporates who have business spread all over the world. Different countries are having their brands. Now they also have rules and regulations which are imposed by such democratic political parties. Schumpeter argued that capitalism will collapse from within as the democratic majorities will vote for restrictions, entrepreneurship that will be burdened and destroy capitalist structure. So these democratic political parties will bring restrictions, will bring some sort of limitations, so they cannot grow beyond a certain point, and that is how capitalism will decline. He also emphasized a society which is liberal capitalism, where they are not exploitative, where even the employers will look after the employees, where employers will see to the benefits that the employees are going to get. So this is known as liberal capitalism. So capitalism is there, but they are not the same as capitalism of Karl Marx's time, which was totally exploitative. Labor, if they produce surplus value, they will be compensated by these big capitalists. This is because the growth of workers' self-management will be there, industrial democracy will be there, and there will be regulatory institutions in the economy. And you all know, students, if you look into the Indian economy as well, we have RBI, monetary policies being evolved, regulatory bodies like SEBI is there, which also looks into how the Securities Exchange Board will look into what the companies are doing, how much of issues that are going to come out, public issues, we have also Monopolies Restrictive Trade Practices Act, so that the monopolies are not created. So the capitalism which existed in the 18th and 19th century is totally gone now, and we have a much better sort of capitalism which brings growth to the economy, development to the economy, known as liberal capitalism. Schumpeter said that these intellectuals class, they will play an important role in the decline of capitalism. They will keep criticizing, they will keep being critical, and the intellectuals are the class of persons who will develop critiques of societal matters. They will talk about social security, they will talk about unemployment issues, and hence the capitalists have to listen to such intellectual class. The great advantages of capitalism, Schumpeter argued, was the pre-capitalist periods, when you have more and more people who will be privileged to be skilled employed, higher education will be there, availability of fulfilling work that will be there, which was limited and lacking earlier. All these will be brought about because unemployment will produce discontent, and hence even the capitalists have to look into problems. The political party, democratic political party, will look into these problems, and the intellectual class will organize itself to protest and develop such critical ideas where all these problems which occur because of capitalism, unemployment of resources, wastage of resources, unemployment of manpower, all these will be looked after by this intellectual class. Schumpeter was the first scholar to develop such theories and is often referred to as fundamental theories are referred to as Mark I and Mark II. Schumpeter argued that innovation, technological changes of a nation, these come from entrepreneurs, and the risk-taking ability, the wild spirits of the entrepreneurs, they will only bring about development in the economy. He coined the word Entrepreneurship, which is the German word which is known as entrepreneur spirit. So if you have the entrepreneurial spirit, if you have the entrepreneurial urge, you can definitely bring about much greater development, not only for your own firm and enterprise, but the whole economy will grow. Mark II, the phrase of Schumpeter, was developed when he became a professor of Harvard University in US, and he asserted that agents that drive innovation, people who bring about such innovation, are the people who are entrepreneurs and large companies who have the resources, who have the capital to invest in research and development. So R&D is also very important. More and more a company invests in research and development, more and more the company can grow. And this is what is the practical experience that we have seen. These arguments, they are complementary today. So we are knowing that this is true and this is what is happening in today's world. Innovation, as I told you before, is the most important focus for Schumpeter, and all economic changes, entrepreneurial activities, market power, it all revolves around innovation. And innovation originated market power. They provide better results than the invisible hand of price competition. Technical innovation is the one that is required for bringing such change, and this is what was emphasized by Schumpeter and the monopolies or the big companies who can bring such technological innovations. Today we have studied about Schumpeter and his ideas of innovation, entrepreneurship, and how the economy or how the economy can really bring about great development taking place through such innovations. According to Schumpeter, what he felt was that an entrepreneur is a person who brings about such change after a static situation. One innovation or a technological innovation that takes place will break this stationary state, and new ideas or new improvements will come, new products will emerge. So scientific exploration will bring market changes, and this market changes will lead to much greater profits for capitalism, and capitalism will grow in an evolutionary process. Unlike what Marx had said, there is no revolution taking place, but in this evolutionary process, capitalism will emerge as a strong power. But then this capitalism will be controlled through regulations, because democratic parties will emerge, and these democratic socialist parties will try and see that the problems created by capitalism are ultimately solved and look after the labor class, look after the consumers, and the whole economy will ultimately grow.